So, welcome everyone, especially Ericka. This is the debut, the launch, the initiation of JAM, Just Add Movement, the portal between knowing and becoming. So, I want to have us all take a collective breath to welcome in this initiation, this first moment of jamming out together, where I'm Erin Anderson, a dance movement therapist for 20 years, inviting amazing humans into this space to share what they know to be true about their body, what transitions they're moving through, and how we might move through them together. So I want to invite Ericka Prentice, who is the most beautiful human. She is an embodied leadership coach, corporate trainer, and founder of Mindfulness Matters. With over 20 years inside high-pressure corporate environments, Ericka has come to believe that most leaders don't have a strategy problem, they have a nervous system problem. She helps leaders, founders, and high performers build presence under pressure through her reset method so they can lead, create, and serve without abandoning themselves in the process. Ericka, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Erin. How exciting this is to launch this fantastic, oh my goodness, immensely informative podcast for the masses. I'm putting it out into the universe that you will have 1 million followers for this podcast because
Ah,
everybody needs to be here for this. They do. I love it.
well, and you get to help us cross the threshold together, which really is what this whole interview series conversation is about, really to make it more normal to talk about the big life transitions, the thresholds that we stand in, that we hesitate to cross, that we rush through, that we come backwards through. Um, it's all about how our body is moving through our life, in my opinion. And so,
Yeah.
with that, I want to kick us off with this 3-segment arc for this podcast. And it starts with, Ericka, what do you know to be true about the body based on your work, your life, your body, your knowing?
I know for a fact, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the body
Mm.
recognizes truth
Ooh.
when it hears it, sees it, experiences it, and feels it. The body does not lie.
Mm. So, even as you say that and speak your truth, what do you feel in your body as you express that outwardly to all of us?
Harmony. There is
Mm.
there is there is a resonance when you hear the truth that is there, that's not there any other time. It comes in when you hear the truth. You read the books, The Body Keeps the Score, and you've heard all of the things about cellular memory. Those things are very, very true. But when you are faced with truth, there is this, it's almost like a primal knowing that resonates in the body, which is why, again, the muscle testing and stuff, that's all body stuff because the body knows. And we don't appreciate our bodies. And I know you understand this as a movement coach. We do not understand the importance of our physical bodies and of integration and full embodiment of all of the pieces of ourselves. We have an energetic field, we have several bodies, we
Mm.
have all of these, the chakras, your higher self and your inner child. And everybody talks about these things as separate pieces, but you've got to integrate all of this into your physical body and become a fully functioning being.
Mm.
And the body holds all of this. When you do these things correctly, when you ground correctly, your body holds everything that you are. And part of that is for you to be able to recognize the truth. It is for you to be able to make decisions from a total place, from an integrated place, from a regulated
Mm.
place.
Beautiful. I love what you're calling us into. And the intention behind these conversations is for us to get a sense, a taste of what you just described. How, in your nervous system regulation work, your reset method,
Mhm.
could you give us a small taste just in a couple of minutes of how you can invite us into our body and invite us into that truth?
Absolutely. One of the best ways to immediately become present and center yourself is through breath work. So,
Mhm.
one of the things that I did, just on a whim, honestly, did not know how important this was going to become in the future, was I went through a somatic breath work course and became a certified somatic breath work practitioner.
Amazing.
And it has become pivotal along with the movement in helping people come back to themselves and become present. So, just really quickly invite everyone to just center, set up straight, and just, if you need to close your eyes, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose, hold one, two, three, and exhale out through the mouth. Again, hold one, two, three, and out through the mouth. One more. Now, what you immediately experience is your brain comes back into your body. It comes back into the present. You immediately stop thinking about, oh, what do I have to get at the grocery store? What happened at work yesterday? And you're here and you're now.
Beautiful.
And that's important when you talk about combating anxiety,
Mhm.
when you talk about combating stress, when you just simply need to focus. So I call it practicing the pause. You all have heard that. People always say, practice the pause. But when you practice the pause, breathe. Take three deep breaths and just root and ground in this moment.
Beautiful. So I can just speak for myself. It brought me, exactly as you said, back into my body and gave me this presence that as soon as I hit record, I saw this giant spider running across the floor. And I almost screamed and I almost paused. I almost stopped everything. And I just thought, allow all things to be as they are. We
Mhm.
continued. But my point in giving that example is I was already elevated with excitement to talk
Right,
with you. I was already like up here with my energy in a positive way. But that
right,
stressor was about to, it could have undone me.
right, right.
And so
Absolutely.
you brought, you brought us back with the breath. And I want to call that a sacred pause. And I want to honor your work with the breath. And I want you to feel and receive the sacred work that you do and how it supports you moving through your own life. And so
Mhm.
you do important work. You're inviting leaders to come home to themselves. But every time you invite others, you're also inviting yourself.
True.
And I just wonder what you notice in yourself as you invite others to come into that pause.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. It absolutely has the same effect on me that it does everybody else. It calms and it settles and it brings that energy level into a manageable space. Part of why how I got here was I suffered from debilitating anxiety attacks
Mm,
for years.
mm,
I'm talking about the type of anxiety attacks that when I finally sought help, when I finally took the steps to figure this out, left me curled in the middle of the bathroom floor, holding my 2-year old child, unable to move. And I just, that was it for me. I cannot keep living life in that way.
mm,
It's, exhausted, physically exhausted, so exhausted I couldn't go to work after one of these anxiety attacks, just done.
mm,
So at that time, I sought to understand. I didn't maybe necessarily, I should have probably gone to a therapist, but I did. I sought to understand. And I went through several different methodologies, did a lot of studying of the human brain, the anatomy of anxiety attacks, and developed a method that worked for me. And
mm,
over the years, I have continued to build upon that. And this is how we got to the reset and the desire to help other people um, that maybe were like me, don't necessarily want to seek therapy, probably should, but don't want to. And I understand that, but want to understand, want to live a better life, live their best. Um, and so that's why I do what I do. So this is what I'm showing you is exactly how I immediately interrupt into any anxiety for myself and become present. And that's really what it is. You've got to interrupt that snowball pattern of negative thoughts. And breath is how I do that. So anytime I do that, immediately I come back to myself. Become present, and I'm able to say to myself, okay, what's really going on? Because right now, none of this is real. Creating it is.
mm. And so, even just noticing how that feels to share your story, that small overview, sometimes it can generate a particular feeling. Um, there's something about your story that I want to highlight in that you did not choose the path of therapy. And I'm a therapist, right? I'm a somatic psychotherapist, a licensed professional counselor. And the goal isn't necessarily to make everyone go to therapy. In fact, there can be limitations and challenges within that particular system, methodology, modality. And so I love that you're representing this whole way of working with the being that has nothing to do with needing to talk about your past, relive your past,
Right.
but a way for you to become present to what's true right now.
Absolutely. And that is really um for me how I healed.
Mm,
I think there was just a lot of fear around therapy for me personally, just because of my upbringing and experiences
mhm,
that I had.
mhm,
Um, not with any particular therapist myself, but just watching
mhm,
relatives go through certain things. And so, all of this entire journey, all of the work that I do, when I tell you that I have poured myself into this, I have poured um every ounce of who I am into this because this was a journey, as much a journey of self-healing for me, um, as anything else. And what came out of that was this realization, not that I was so damaged or broken, but if I can heal, if I can become the best version of myself, if I can live in a state of presence every day, more often than not, then other people can do this as well. And
Mm,
it's a beautiful place to live your life from,
mm.
being present in the here and now, being able to process your emotions in real time and not having them get stuck um,
That's
in
right.
your body, in
Hmm.
your field, in your energy field, being able to speak your truths in real time and move forward and do that in an unobstructive, unoffensive manner. But just, having people understand this is how I live my life. I don't carry these things with me. I need to say this to you now, or I need to express this to you now,
Hmm.
and then we move forward harmoniously.
Beautifully. I love it. Back to harmony.
Mm,
Um, so you have a powerful story of coming into your work on a deeply personal level that in and of itself describes a threshold moment, this transition between knowing and becoming. I want to specifically ask from this moment you're in right now, based
mhm.
on what you know to be true about the body, are you willing to share a transition that you're leaning into right now in your personal life or in your professional work that you could be willing to share so that people can know that? I mean, there's just so many moments of life
Yeah,
transition, all different flavors, all different kinds of change. And so the intention behind this question is just to go behind the curtain of you've created this amazing methodology, this work. How do you move forward with it in your own life?
yeah. And man, that is the question. And yes, I again, transparency. Um, Part of what I had to do was go back to work. I'm still building my business and I'm still doing the work, but it's I'm not a marketing person. Let me just say that I am not a marketing guru. It is not my strong point. So, um, after being out of work for 17 months, I have recently transitioned back into the workplace. And the challenge there right now for me is the time management piece,
Mm,
being able to, and it's funny because it's how things work, and I knew this and I know this, but as soon as I uh, took the job, then I had speaking offers come in and telesummit offers, and so and I'm not saying no to these. These are great opportunities to bring this body of work to a wider audience. So now, um, my challenge is the time management and the maximization of uh, my time. And I used to say, "Ooh, I'm a procrastinator." And I was. I can no longer own that. And I do not own it. I have, by circumstance, and been forced to really manage my time because my time is tight. And it always reminds me of that scene uh, from what is it? Evan, the one where he's building the ark. Steve Carell, yeah, right? And his wife is in the restaurant talking to Morgan Freeman, and he says to to her, if you pray for patience, do you think that God just gives you patience, or does He give you opportunities to practice patience. You know, if you pray for um, together time and to rebuild your family, does he just make that happen? Or does he give you opportunities to be with each other and to rebuild? And so my prayer had been, oh, dear Lord, please help me stop procrastinating. I need to get over. Well, so guess what? The opportunity for me to stop procrastinating has hit the door. And and I'm working through it. I am, let me say this, wholeheartedly, tremendously grateful to be in the position that I'm in, to work through all of this in a loving manner with presence, focus, and intention.
Well, and I imagine that return to work with your level of embodiment that you have been practicing has given you potentially a different experience of the corporate world and those in it and how you interact with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and it's not, people are people, but what you gain through the work that I do, through the embodiment, through the presence, through the integration, um, is you learn how to hold space and grace for other people. I always, I tell my girls, they're grown now, but if you want to know how people feel about themselves, look at how they treat the people around them.
Mm.
And it's those of us that love ourselves, have learned to value ourselves and love ourselves deeply. We understand the human experience. So you learn to hold grace and space when people can't do it for themselves. And you learn to be non-responsive until it absolutely has to come down to that. You just, you take people where they are. Sometimes you have to leave them where they are, but you take the experience for what it is, and you understand that it has really nothing to do with you. And we make a lot of our day-to-day experiences about us, but they are not.
Mm, that's right. And so, in that, I want to invite you into your own body, right? So often in those moments where we're worried that we've wronged someone, done something, we need to come home. And so, the intention behind these conversations is to just get these tastes and these touch points into the amazing work you're doing and how you're living it out yourself and how you can drop into it even now. So I'd love to have you drop into your own body, however you choose to do that, and imagine yourself exactly where you are, but potentially seeing specifically some kind of threshold that you're standing in or crossing. And my invitation is a question. What does your body know right now? And I want to offer just a little bit of sound in terms of music so you can have, and everyone listening, right? Whether you're watching or listening, the idea is that in just a couple of minutes, we can create a profound experience for ourselves. So let me just hit some music to be in the background as we take a moment to connect with what our body knows to be true right now. You can breathe, and I also encourage your breath to become movement. And I'll circle back in just a minute. The music. And staying with your eyes closed in that moment, just honoring what you're noticing, what emerged that wasn't there before, because you allowed yourself to add movement. The simplest gesture can mean so much. We can see it, we can feel it. And I just invite everyone to give themselves just a few more seconds in the silence to find your completion for now. But in just a couple of minutes, you can touch that truth of what the body knows. And from this place, Ericka, I'd love to invite you to describe or share what truth you've connected with through movement.
For me, it was this sense of absolute safety
Mhm.
and trust. And I think we oftentimes move through the world not necessarily feeling safe in our bodies,
That's
for
right.
many different reasons.
Hmm.
And that movement, you know, just gave me the most profound, solid, palpable sense of being safe in my body, safe to be me, safe to even exist in this world, and to not take that for granted. It felt fabulous. Like it opened me up and lightened my energy, and my physical body actually felt better.
Mm. And allowing this way of being to support you through this transition of transforming your relationship with time and continuing to expand how you serve people, crossing that threshold of eternally becoming and being even more you. I invite everyone to take a couple collective breaths. And as we do, I'd like to invite you, Ericka, to see if there's anything else you get to share from this place in service of what you know, what your body knows about moving through life's transitions and becoming more yourself.
Absolutely. Oh, breath is life. Movement is grounding. It is very grounding. We need a move. That is the vitality piece of things in life, the movement. Um, and just, I want to emphasize to people the importance of reestablishing and reopening that body dialogue. Well, because your body, again, tells you the truth, and it's constantly communicating with you. Um, we just sometimes have forgotten to listen. And so I just urge people to trust the process, to understand that things are always happening for you, not to you, and to move, to breathe, and to start to listen to what your body is trying to tell you about you.
Hmm. And so, even in this moment, from this conversation with the two of us, with this intention that we have to connect with others, we've created Communitas, which is the spirit of intimacy that happens when a group of people come together to create change and transformation together.
Yes.
So, I just want to thank you, Ericka Prentice, for bringing what you know to be true about the body from your body of work, from your lived experience. And I invite anyone who resonates with what Ericka shared to reach out. I'll make sure there's contact information. And as always, I want to invite us to remember that movement creates transformation and it creates community. So this is
Thank
Erin
you.
Anderson. Ericka, thank you so much for coming together for a quick chat, but hopefully it really invites not only us, but those who are able to listen to drop in for a few minutes and move into the rest of their day, their evening, their weekend, their week with some freshness, some vitality, some truth, like you spoke about.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Erin, for having me and allowing me to be part of this beautiful community that you're building. Namaste.
So much love and movement.